I am the Senior Land Use Planner here in the Planning and Zoning Division of the Newark Department of Economic and Housing Development. And right now, as Claudia mentioned earlier, we're just going to do a quick session in regards to just to get some of your ideas in terms of improvement, to share some of your ideas in terms of how to benefit the port area and answer any questions that you might have, regarding specific areas of the Ironbound or the port area as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen right now. Can everybody see my screen here? Let me know if anybody can't see my screen, just let me know. Okay. So first things first, as Claudia mentioned earlier, we're just going to start here with the map of the general area, and this is just the the area that we were discussing in the meeting, which is the port area, East Ferry area, and the Ironbound to the west here. So just basically to get started, what we're going to do is just anything that you feel is a positive attribute to the area, or anything that you like or feel is a valuable asset to the city or the neighborhood, by all means just feel free to share, and then we'll basically just add this here with the post-it. And so if anybody has any ideas, feel free to share. You can either go in the chat or whatever's easiest for you. All right, can anybody hear me? I'm not seeing, I don't know if anybody's, am I getting through to everyone here?
Hey, Tim, yes, I can hear you, but I don't know if the chat is, the chat allows everybody. For example, I just posted something on the chat and it went only to the deputy mayor.
Okay, yeah, that's strange. Let me try, I think if you switch Al to everyone, let me try.
Okay, all right, there goes everyone, there we go. All right. So one thing, obviously, maybe to jump start here, when we look at this neighborhood, Riverfront Park is without question one of the greatest community assets the Ironbound has.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. 1 second here. Let me move this stuff around. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here. And just to kind of extrapolate on that as well, Al. I mean, I think in terms of transportation options and connectivity to the city, I know there are plans underway and have been for a while with the North River redevelopment plan. What would you add just in terms of just improving connectivity to the parts of the Ironbound and also just the Port District as well?
Well, I would put, when you talk about connectivity, and if you're talking about the port and then the Ironbound and into the rest of the city, the whole issue of Raymond Boulevard, that's a major thoroughfare. So that's a critical piece to connectivity. I do think as we look at everything, the city and the county have a great, the whole walkway along the water with the extension of Riverfront Park, both the county and the city piece. That needs to be finalized and maintained, and celebrated as we go along. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the edge of the zone, but that is probably the two pieces. When you look at the edge of this zone to the Ironbound and the connection, is without question Raymond Boulevard and that park along the water. So those are two key things to keep in mind.
Sure, of course.
And actually straight into the central business district and to Penn Station.
Absolutely, and I think that is definitely an area that's been garnering a lot of attention to in our division as well, just in terms of attracting some more higher density residential development along with the necessary transportation enhancements that go along with it. To kind of just kind of veer away from the dependence on cars and the whole kind of one parking space to one unit ratio. Can anybody else, sorry guys, can anybody else hear what's going on here? If you could just, unmute yourself and then, just let us know.
Hey everybody, it's Minister Sandra Rock.
Hey, how you doing, Sandra?
Okay. We're good, thank you. Good to see all of you, and I'm that we're doing some good things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So feel free to chime in whenever. This is an open forum. If you have any questions, just feel free to interrupt, and we'll keep going. So.
Hi everyone, this is Amanda Valdez. I can hear you. Just listening in.
Hi Amanda, how are you?
Doing well.
All right, great. If you have anything you wanted to add, Amanda, just in terms of the kind of the strengths of the whole neighborhood, in terms of any improvements, well actually we'll get to that in the next the next few slides.
Sure.
Anything that's existing right now in terms of the neighborhood and things that you feel are positive attribute, and also that basically could serve as as kind of a guideline to model our development plan.
Sure. I would agree. The park is beautiful, and I was in the Ironbound this weekend actually for dinner, and I was pleasantly surprised at how well it's doing. I mean, they've done an incredible job bouncing back from the.
Okay, great. So just the resiliency of the neighborhood in general. And you're talking about just in terms of how it's kind of bounced back from the whole COVID situation, or?
Yeah, I mean, all of the restaurants have been really creative in the way that they've handled, their we were at Forno's and they basically rebuilt the parking lot to be a beautiful outdoor restaurant. It felt like you were in Europe, and everyone was safe, obviously, but it was lovely. So I would say it's resiliency at its best.
Sure. And yeah, so basically just the overall culinary options and just outdoor dining options are also a strength as well. I would definitely agree there. There's some terrific restaurants.
My major concern, this is Reverend Rock. My major concern, Sandra, is really environment.
Sure.
That is one of my major concerns.
Sure.
And I'm quite sure that you're very much aware, but working in the area, and I love Ironbound and everything else, but I know for a fact that when it's very hot, you really can smell the stench.
Yeah.
Okay. We know that, and that's being real. And where I have provided service at the county jail, that whole area of Doremus Avenue, that's one of the major things that I'm looking at in terms of bringing things together and making it really a green kind of dream. Okay, that's a reality. That's what my concerns are for the city of Newark.
Sure, and I think so to kind of elaborate on that, and that's a very very valid point as well. And just to elaborate, I think, would you say that the existing parks in the Ironbound, like for instance, the Riverfront Park and Jefferson Park as well, or Independence Park rather, sorry, would you say those are a good model to, just to kind of, to use as other areas within the neighborhood for park space? Do you like the way they're laid out? Do you?
Yes, no, that that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good with that.
Yeah, of course.
If I can, Tim, there's also Riverbank Park. It's also on, I mean, people
Yeah, that's
sometimes confuse it. But Riverbank is also on Raymond, closer to the Jackson Street Bridge, up a little bit more from this area.
Yeah.
But again, it's not. And Minister, you're 100% right. And as a resident of Newark, of the Ironbound, I thank you. I think the first stage here, we're trying to, we want to go through 4 different slides. And right now we were trying to identify what do we like in the area and what do we think is positive. And we definitely will get to what our main concerns are.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, and I think actually, I know Claudia mentioned something about a timer here. I'm not seeing anything. Are you seeing anything, Al, on your end? But I don't know.
I'm sorry?
Are you seeing anything just in regards to a timer? I think she mentioned that there would be one here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. Let me see if she put anything in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
So yeah, I think we'll just keep track. It's going to be about 5 minutes per slide. So I think we've spent about 5 minutes on this one. We've got some great ideas here in terms of the positive elements of the neighborhood. So I think what we'll do is just move on to the next one. And this, Reverend Brock, is actually where, your previous points come into play. So I'm going to just add a point about basically it's the spillover from the industrial area into the neighborhood in terms of odors, just in terms, I know traffic is an issue as well. And, if anybody, would like to, share anything else, by all means, just keep going. Obviously one at a time, and I'll keep adding to the list here.
I mean, obviously, while folks have other things to say, we historically in the Ironbound, it starts with the incinerator, even before, the chemical issues on Doremus proper. I mean, the prison issue is somewhat, it is an issue in terms of the smells for the visitors and the families of the inmates, and obviously for the residents as well.
Sure.
So the whole spillover of the chemical smells on Doremus, but we have to always be vigilant about the incinerator.
Yes, exactly. So.
And my concern is that when I have provided classes there for the inmates or for the non-citizens who are there, is the fact that the infiltration, the air quality, that was one of the major concerns that we did have. And that's something that I know that you're addressing, but that was one of the major problems that what was happening in terms of air quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it's that's a big issue. I mean, I knew about the penitentiary there, but I had no idea it was literally kind of smack dab in the middle of the the I-3 heavy industrial zoning area there, which is the most permissive in terms of uses such as trash incinerators and any kind of similar uses of that nature. So
as well as the flooding.
Yes, exactly.
Heavy flooding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tim, if I may, just also to help as we move along here, a major, and the deputy mayor knows this, the major infrastructure need there is Passaic Valley Sewage Commission, and that goes into even needing federal help with controls there and in terms of ocean, damage to the ocean water and what have you. So the whole issue of the need for desperate upgrades at Passaic Valley, I don't think they've made the $250 million investment after Sandy that they were supposed to. So that's a
Yeah.
That's a big problem too. And I think, and I think it's really just the enforcement of the EJCIO, the environmental justice regulations, along with state DEP regulations as well. Unfortunately, I wish compliance was 100%, but from what I've seen on my end too, there are several. I won't name names, but unfortunately that is lacking in terms of people submitting those permits. So.
In fairness to them, they need dollars and they need they need capital improvements.
Yeah.
In fairness to them.
I agree.
And I think so. I guess just coastal resiliency is just the main theme as well, just in terms of flooding.
As we continue with climate change, this is one of the major things in terms of as we know, with the rise of water levels and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, and that's just being a salt marsh. I mean, it's a lot of that area is just less than 3 feet above sea level, and it is scary to see what's to see what might happen if we don't take action with that in the next 20 years. So, that is a big concern. And I know with the recently, just as Woo Kim mentioned too, to accommodate a lot of the Panamax shipping vessels, they also dredged the Newark Bay recently, which from what I understand is going to have even more adverse impacts in terms of basically coastal currents and flooding in terms of a storm. So, all the more reason for some serious improvements there. And I think just in terms of, going outside of the environmental aspect of this, I mean, would you say that there's any, just in terms of the type of businesses that are there, that in terms of their practices, would you say that there's a lack of a specific industry, or if there's too much of one industry, or something like that, or?
I think that small business, that's one thing. I hope I'm on the right page. Yeah. Port support, which when we did we were asking for what areas do we think in terms of business and really third party, that sort of thing, to extend what's going on in Newark, in Newark proper, so that bring because that's the others, just bring those pieces going under, Penn Station, and going in that area, and like everything, how it's working out beautifully. So I think that overall, the dream can come true. I hope that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Tim, we're 8 minutes on this slide, but one of the things in terms of things we don't like, we needed to point out, there's an interchange, the whole Delancey Street exits and the Wilson Avenue exits, in terms of and how those are used in terms of access points to the Ironbound residential community, and to especially Delancey Street and the truck routing issue there. That is an area of concern, and it's always a headache, and it's probably going to get worse. I mean, I'm happy that there is. You asked the question of what we need more of. We need the sort of industries that Newark residents can get jobs for. That's Absolutely. Why I believe port zone stuff and transportation, logistics, trucking, or
Right.
things that Newark residents can get their jobs in. We have to be realistic
Absolutely.
with the minimum amount of job training, right? That's why we need to leverage that transportation infrastructure. But if I could, again, you know what? We didn't put on the like, and I'm suspect here because I was involved, but the Bayonne Bridge going up was great. But now the Delancey Street interchange is a major issue for the community. And I think we have to the extent we see truck routing, I think that has to be part of a master plan without question.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with the with the Amazon distribution facility going up there, that is going to be it can be an issue of concern as well. So.
And there's going to be another 200,000 or 185,000 square foot warehouse right behind it on Rutherford Street. So
Yes.
right behind where Amazon's going. So
Exactly. And that's I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that's I think from what I understand, it's going to employ about 1,500 people at the Amazon space. So that's a lot more.
Those they have benefits that could help turn lives around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's just, as long as it's done right. So, anyway, so like you said, we're kind of strapped for time here on this slide. So I'm going to go move on to the next one. So I guess this gets down into a bit more of the specifics in terms of geographic location. So I think right here, I'll start with. Specifically, I'm just going to start I'll go over to the interchange here. I think that's this area. I don't know how to change the color with the the pen here. I don't know how to make it red, but I think, and then, are there any other areas that stand out, aside from the ones that we've discussed, or, if you want to just elaborate on the ones we've discussed as well?
Well, I guess all the interchanges, right? As you're pointing out, I mean, you're looking at the very tip there by Blanchard Street, but there's Wilson Avenue.
Yep.
Right by the 1 and 9. If you look on the 1 and 9 line, right there. And then we mentioned already Delancey Street. So those are definitely areas that need improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is going to be definitely a major cause for concern. Now, in terms of just are there any concerns just to kind of veering away from truck transportation, just in terms of the way freight rail is laid out here? Is there any room for improvement with that? Is there too much freight traffic by rail? Is there too little? Would you think the balance between truck and freight traffic is it balanced, or is it kind of just skewed in one direction? And where, I guess, the next question would be, where would you pinpoint on this map where that would be an issue?
Okay. Well, the rail line goes through Jabez Street. That's oh my God, closer to the 1 and 9. It's the Wilson Avenue exit off of 1 and 9. That's the rail line goes somewhat parallel to 1 and 9. But I would tell you this. I don't know how much information the community has or what's really on those rails. If you've seen a few different rail accidents in other locations, people said they had no idea what was really going through there. So, I mean, I don't think the community, I'll speak for myself and, being here my whole life, that there's not much complaint about rail, but I don't think people really understand to the extent that there's anything dangerous going through there either. We have Conrail has a major yard in the Ironbound, and most people know nothing about it.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think, sorry, Reverend, did you have something to add too?
No, I'm in agreement. I'm like I said, I'm very much in agreement with what Mr. Al Catino is talking about. And
Sure. So I think, so would you say, I mean, I guess just I know the truck.
Tim, we just got a 5-minute warning for the entire
Oh, sure.
exercise.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Al. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next one here. We've already identified some areas. Okay, great. So back to the back to the positives here. So I'm not going to bother with the pen. I think it's more effective just to list the places and areas of opportunity rather than circle them, because I can't figure out how to change the color on the pen here. But I guess just any kind of standout areas, like I know 429 Delancey Street, that is where the Amazon distribution facility is going. Rutherford Street, as Al mentioned before, or just in general. I mean, like areas closer to the water for shipping. Certain areas that are kind of on the, just the transition zone from the ironbound to the industrial area. Anything that presents an opportunity going forward. I think my notes blocking the whole map here. Sorry about that. It's my first time doing one of these, so just bear with me if you can.
So Tim, I would just say, to the extent that we can incentivize transportation logistics, or again, those jobs that the
Sure.
Newark residents can get into, I think that's the largest opportunity. This is a much more complicated issue, but I do think the Port Authority needs to do better about creating more capacity to unload those ships. My good folks at FAPS, but they should have the cars shouldn't be taking up all that land on the port. They should be going vertical. And to the extent that, this plan might, I don't know if it's appropriate to going into existing space of the Port Authority, but, that could help get us some more, logistics jobs. So I think that's a major opportunity. And, to the extent that we're encouraging environmental friendly things, we're going to, we can hopefully clean the air up for the residents as we go through this.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, well said, Al. And so I think, so just a part of that too, I guess, would just be just to kind of extrapolate as well. I mean, the opportunity for creating just green industries in the area too. I know that was a question that was posed in the, in the presentation that came up as well. So would you say that there's a lot of potential for that in the area as well? Or I guess just, or should we just kind of stick with the more like kind of traditional jobs, like you said, just in terms of, kind of dock workers, longshoremen, that sort of thing?
I would let the other folks speak first, but I mean, let's clearly, I think it would be great if we could attract them, but those things aren't so easy. There's a lot of capital issues that go into that. So, I mean, I think it'd be nice to have it in the plan as a priority, but I don't know how that necessarily would drive the creation of those jobs. There's more that goes into that. So, but without question, it should be, a priority if we could get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I could, logistics is a natural, and I think it needs to be maxed, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Before we wrap up, I mean, this is the last slide. So, I mean, does anybody aside from Al, Reverend Rock, Amanda, I see Director Ladd here is in the meeting. Hello, Director Ladd. And Kim Barnes, do you have anything to add before we wrap this up, or I don't know if
No, good evening, and thank you very much for everybody. Tim, you're doing a great job of moderating using this new technology. And Al, appreciate your input. This is Allison Ladd. But I feel like a lot of what you touched on are things that I think about pretty regularly also. So, but I know we have a few more seconds and I'll let someone else respond.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate it. Okay, I guess, all right, well, I guess that wraps it up. I mean, I think,
10-second countdown.
Yeah, exactly. Al, great timekeeping. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
For multiple things, I guess.
We're all back now.
I would imagine this project is somehow linked to the Port Authority's 2050 project,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
because it looks like they're heading into the Newark direction.
Right. Okay. That would make
And
sense.
there is a presentation tomorrow by the Port Authority at 10 a.m.
Can someone put that in the chat? Or
Let me see if I can find the link they sent me.
yeah, that'll be great. Appreciate that.
I do want to mention that in this group, we do have Kristen Figaro, who is a representative from the Port Authority.
Oh, we do have now everyone back in here in the main room, so welcome back. I want to make sure right now, does everyone can see my screen, which is with the board? Zoe, I'm going to ask you to reply or say yes or no.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. So since we, Amy, how many groups do we have?
We had 7 groups.
7 groups. So I'm not going to go over the one that we have in here because if people were watching at home, they could see our conversation. But then we actually use only one map. And then the stickies are, the blue ones are ideas and opportunities. The pink stickies were things that we don't like. And then things that we like, I just want to say Iron Bar has great restaurants and good walking environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing. And then because Amy, I don't know who the groups are. You need to collab at least. Can you collab 2 or 3 groups?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with Zoe and Mary's group.
All right. One of you can share your screen.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, Mary, I was going to say you got the record, so I will report out really briefly. We did have, for the most part, people who are involved in the redevelopment planning process as part of the team. So we did have one community member that did a lot of the heavy lifting for us, so we really appreciate that. So starting with places that they like and are valuable, a lot of these were focused in the Ironbound neighborhood itself. There weren't any that were within our study area, and many of them were sort of the community assets like schools, the community recreation center, community center, and the park assets. Go to the next one. In terms of areas that they don't like or that need improvement, there's a lot to cover. Very much of our